What is up, Tube Tech students? rSlash here, and we are here to finish off Revenge Week with the subreddit I actually haven't checked out yet. Today we will be looking into rSlash nuclearrevenge. Now, I've heard that a lot of the entries on here might be illegal, so of course names will be changed, probably some times and dates will be altered, but we won't know until we get in and actually look at some of these posts. Cheat on me and have your new loudmouth husband validate your actions because I was too busy mourning for my dead brother? Let's see how your new husband likes it when the shoes are on the other foot, and let me know how losing literally everything goes while I get full custody of the dog and children. That was a long one. English is not my first language, but the audacity of this woman and her loudmouth new husband makes for a good read. My uncle's revenge and how he stripped his wife of everything, from status, children, family dog, and money. Here it goes. So, my uncle and his wife had a very good relationship. They did everything together. She was a good mother, but was dependent on my uncle for money. He earned while she stayed at home, porking another man and looking after the kids, 6 and 12. How nice, right? A really lovely and caring wife. For more context, my other uncle had died, so of course my uncle was mourning for a few months. He wanted to love and be cuddled and not to have sex. Well, his wife didn't care. She would give him a kiss and a quick hug, then carry on doing whatever she was doing, such as cooking and cleaning. We would ask him how is it that she seemed so distant, and his reply was that everyone deals with grief a certain way. Turns out her grieving process included cheating with other men, a family friend of all things. My uncle's brother had died, and during this time they had many friends visit them at their house, especially from a family friend they had known forever, who would visit with his child so that the children could play while the grown-ups talked to each other. My uncle didn't think anything of it, or the frequency of which the man would visit. He thought it was a drop-off his son kind of thing, so the children could play. That was until his little boy, my cousin, drew a picture he wanted to show Daddy, my uncle. My little cousin said it was a secret, and Mommy said family friend and her were playing a new game that only they could play. That already made my uncle suspicious, but never did he think his wife would cheat on him, especially since he was still in mourning. In fact, we were all shocked. This woman was so prim and proper, to a T, with a clean house, good mannerisms, fine clothes, and upturned nose. His son proceeds to take out a crumpled piece of paper which he had hidden from under his bed, and shows it to my uncle, saying he went to fetch it from the bin after his mommy threw it away. It was a drawing. He explained that Mommy had told him not to draw her and the family friend again, because it's a private game that nobody can know about. However, my uncle's son, feeling hurt, went to retrieve his drawing and thought perhaps Daddy might like to see it and give him applause, because he thinks that he can draw so nicely and Daddy would like to see it. It turns out after some explanation that it was a drawing of family friend sticking his pee-pee next to Mommy's wee-wee. My uncle took pictures of the drawing while pooping himself and recording everything his son said about what he drew. He asked things like when and where Mommy was playing these games. Turns out she did it when she thought the kids were busy during the day outside playing, and that she basically had sex around the whole house while locking doors and leaving the kids without supervision for a few minutes. He also found out that the older kids made their own game of observing the adults having sex and would listen or watch the adults doing their thing through doors and curtains from outside, while the young son, who drew the picture, would make noises to pretend to be busy playing outside so as to not alert the adults. The children were essentially taking turns seeing what family friend and my uncle's wife were doing out of curiosity. This coming from the most self-important, prim and proper woman you'd ever meet. Do you know what her response was to my uncle when he asked her why, after finding out that they were together in this house with the children around, that he paid for, as her lazy butt wanted to stay at home? She said, and I kid you not, "You wouldn't give me what I needed, sex, and kept denying me, so I went to look for it somewhere else." And something along the lines of, "I had the right to do it since you weren't giving me what I needed or caring about me, loving me, etc." And you believe it? Not only did the kids see the nonsense, not only did she neglect them for selfish reasons and lock them outside for a few minutes, not only did she cheat while he was mourning for his brother, she had the sheer audacity to claim it was because of him, and she as a wife has sexual and fulfillment needs that needing to fill, wanted and loved was important for a woman like her. Move on for a few months, they get divorced, they share custody of the dog/children while she gets married to the guy she cheated on him with. On top of that, the guy who was a family friend also had the audacity to speak up and say that what she did was right and that my uncle should have taken care of her, etc. Imagine thinking you know and have a say in someone else's marriage and help to break it up. That it's fine to do. Do you know what my uncle did to his wife? He ruined her for cheating and leaving him to marry someone else, the family friend, as well as make his life hell. He actually messed up both of their lives and got full custody of his children. And yes, it was amazingly rewarding, even for us. Now, I believe we're off to a really good start, and we're about to get into the revenge portion of this story, but before we do, I have a surprise for you all. There's another Reddit channel by the name of rSlash, and he's been wanting to do a collab with me. So, I decided to give him the chance, and he will be reading a shorter story to serve as an intermission for this story, because this story is quite a long one. So without further ado, I pass the mic on to rSlash, and he's going to work his magic. Take it away.
rSlash here. Before I begin, I want to thank adiddlydoo for allowing me to collaborate with him. I hope for future collaborations. Never underestimate a child's ability for revenge. When I was much younger, I was molested by a few different people on different occasions. One almost broke my spirit, but I got my revenge in the end. Being little and in the 4th grade, there wasn't much I could do physically, but I bided my time. After being held out of school by my grandfather, who told me to put on a dress that was much too small and wanted me to sit on his lap, I didn't either, but a degree of molestation occurred anyway. I felt dirty, degraded, but most of all I was pissed. I threw myself even farther into my schoolwork and waited. Tick, tick, tick. My father, who worked nights, was asleep in his room before his shift started. My grandfather and I were in the living room watching television, he in his recliner and I on the couch. He started making noises like a puppy here, hopping on his stomach, forcing the air from his lungs, and vomited into the small trash can next to his chair, then grabbed his chest and looked at me. Confused, asked if he was okay, and all he could say was, I knew from CPR training from the Girl Scouts that he was having a heart attack. I sat on the couch and held eye contact with him, smiling. I waited and waited and waited until he fell unconscious. And it was likely too late for anything to be done before getting my dad and telling him what was happening in the living room. Dad called 911, and the ambulance came to take the old man away. I was sent to a neighbor's house while Dad followed the ambulance in his own vehicle. The old pervert died in a hospital, and I had to play the tearful granddaughter at the funeral. I guess I wasn't a very good Girl Scout after all. I think this guy got exactly what he deserved.
Absolutely disgusting that anyone could even think about putting their hands on a child like that. Links to rSlash channel will be in the description. Make sure you go check him out. What do you say we jump back into the nuclear revenge story from before? She left my uncle for someone else. He, being who he was, tried letting it go. He tried to forgive her, went to church, prayed for her to have a good life, never spoke bad about her, and so on. Then one day, she started talking about him having the kids stay over at her house. This continued to her texting messages about how she missed him. He finally caught a wake up and caught on to what she wanted. She wanted to be with him, perhaps cheat with him on her new husband, and kept sending him messages about how she missed him. Thus, he used her feelings and urges to manipulate her into sending tons of backed up sex and videos to him by leading her on, which he finally then sent to her new husband. This was while they were trying for a baby with each other. But this stay-at-home wife would now learn her lesson. In fact, they both would. It taught them both a lesson. 1. She will always cheat. 2. The family friend who defended her cheating and married her would learn what it's like to be in my uncle's position since he liked to talk so much. 3. She did it to her husband, now does it to him. Karma. Serves you right for helping her cheat and defending her. Let's see what you say now that you're on the other side of the story. 4. Don't be a lazy stay-at-home mom without a job, etc. to fall back on. Then, when the new husband left my aunt, she couldn't take care of the children and the laws in my country are funny, and she carelessly signed a prenup. She was left out on the street not being able to care for her children. She had no experience and no fine clothing or jewelry anymore to act like a proper prom and proper jerk. You almost caught me. As if she has class because she has someone else's money. So he ended up with full custody of the dog and his children. Win-win for everyone. Except on the cheating jerk and the loudmouth husband. Not so nice when the shoe was on the other foot, friend. TLDR, Uncle gets cheated on as he was mourning and didn't want to have sex. Aunt and family friend had sex. Uncle got divorced. Aunt got remarried to this man who she ended up trying to cheat on with my uncle. My uncle kept proof, showed it to the same loudmouth man who had defended my aunt. They got divorced. Aunt was left without a house or money, and my uncle got full custody of the dog and his children. P.S. She never got that class wasn't what you had, but how you behaved. She thought class was having an iPhone, dressing well, and having a tidy house while thinking lower of other working people, when she didn't have to work for her money. I know poor people who basically have nothing, who have more class than she ever will, as they know how to behave, treat, and help others. Edit. My uncle is rich and smart enough to use already rich family money to make him richer. The family friend was just as rich, so he clearly has a type. It's called wealthy. My uncle was clever before getting married, the same for this guy. Okay, what does that mean? When she got married to this guy after divorcing him, she lost the money she was entitled to every month as well as the monthly childcare money when she lost the children. What money she was able to get from my uncle, she spent quickly. I am talking 5-star hotels and $1,000 cruises, clothes with her new husband. Her honeymoon and wedding alone cost her almost $1 million for her half of the event, which lasted like 2 months, including places around Dubai, shopping trips, and the Mediterranean. Not to mention being a good mommy, she spoiled her kids crazy so they would love her and the new dad as well, not that he tried much for her children. She didn't take care of what money she was spending or what the prenup entailed, thinking the new husband would treat her fairly like my uncle. She was literally left on the street after being kicked out. She begged and pleaded for shelter as well as to see her children. I mean, she was a decent mother besides the children seeing you having sex part. But eventually that stopped when she disappeared to who knows where. That was incredibly long and incredibly tough to read. But I'd say the payoff was worth it. There's nothing like seeing a snooty jerk be put in their place. There's absolutely nothing like it. And I would pay absolute money to see it happen more often. Kyo that's myo that's dynamic, let's go, go, dai panic makaru to suyoku naru. Mi no horo shirazu ni wa koukai toka genkai toka nai mon. So that shows that dynamic, let's go. Yes, renda kikabisete mushaburui. Suge koto ga matarun da ze. And that is going to do it for rSlash Week. This is the first time I've called it rSlash Week. It has solely been Revenge Week, but hey, you guys can call it whatever you want. I've really enjoyed taking a look at these subreddits. Next week, I'm going to be taking a look at subreddits I've never even blinked at. Like, I'm going to actually be experimenting with what I put on the channel. I hope you all are excited. There is still no r/diddle subreddit on Reddit. I don't know when that's going to happen. Hopefully it happens soon. So with that being said, class is dismissed, and don't forget to submit your upload schedules. Later, guys.